truck and tractor pulling has always been a lot of fun, but one of the newest and hottest classes on the tour is the Air Dog 2.6 diesel trucks, and they're up next.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control.
Without a question, when you come to Terre Haute Action Track, you can see some of the best diesel trucks of all time. Welcome to the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. This is one of the hottest classes on the tour. The new hot rods these days, yep, they're trucks. Ken Stout and Brian Olson to call all the action for you. This will be typical truck and tractor pulling. 320-foot course. Of course, the sled is always, Big John is always in the house, but these trucks, and there's a bunch of them on the streets these days as well, are wicked, I mean bad to the bone vehicles. Let's check in with Trado.
Richard Lowry certainly has his act together. 85 trucks pulled in the pits this morning. He had to finish top 6 on each lane, Richard, and the 2.6 class is certainly a competitive one. How'd you get your start, and how you're doing so well?
I had a couple buddies kind of talk me into it, and we got hooked up with Patrick from Hart's Diesel in Fayette, Missouri, and he really talked us into buying this truck out of Kentucky that he knew ran good, and he put his finishing touches to it, and we really picked up last year, and just got started about a year and 2 weeks ago, actually, to this date, with this truck, and man, it's done really good for us. It really has.
Out of Eugene, Missouri, towing across the country, but you really know how to get this to the racetrack. The horsepower to the racetrack, what can and can't you do to a 2.6?
2.6 is really limited on your drive line. You have to run a factory 1-ton running gear, transmission, transfer case, and you have to run a 2.6 bore on your turbo. That's all the air intake you can put to it, and that's where they limit a lot of the horsepower.
And these diesel truck pulling classes really got started about 4 years ago. There was 4 different classes, the working horse class, if you will. Basically a stock turbo on it, then the 2.6, there's a 2.8 and a 3.0. They've done away with the 2.8, so the 2.6 has become a very popular class. And of course, you heard there, they have to use the stock drive gear, if you will, transmission, transfer case, that sort of stuff. So they can tear that stuff up pretty easily if they really get a good bite. These guys are making in excess of 850 horsepower.
Here's our very first puller, the guy we just talked to, Richard Lowry, in the machine out of Eugene, Missouri for Trailer Trends.
You see that smoke just bellowing out of there. You can hear the RPMs come down, and that's what they want to maintain. They want to maintain those RPMs, have the proper gearing in that truck, keep those RPMs up so that the engine stays in the boost and produces maximum torque and horsepower. Pretty solid effort here. The full pull mark is at 320. He goes 314.60.
When you see that black smoke rolling, that baby is making bacon. I mean, it is making horsepower. That's exactly what you need to do. But when that sled comes to the top, it'll start slowing you down, and pretty soon put you to a halt.
Of course, for our new pulling fans, as we take a look at Derek Leiss here, you can also see that weight box out in the front to try and keep that front end planted. We'll take a look at one of the Chevys inside of the category now. The Dodges definitely do a good job out here as one of the bow ties makes a run at it.
Sounds like the RPM's down just a little bit, but a nice looking run right there at 315.16 for the Slight Insanity machine. Again, it is a Chevrolet.
And you just love the names that are inside of these categories as well as we take a look at this Lucas Oil Instant Replay. Again, just a solid stream of smoke out of that one. Gets off to a good start. Just didn't have quite enough grunt to get those extra 5 feet out across the stripe. Keep in mind, if we have more than one over 320, we will have a pull-off as we take a look at Evan Davis, the truck called Out of Line, another Chevy, this one out of Leesburg, Ohio.
That baby is jet black, too. It is a beauty. Now, you can hear the difference in the configuration of these things and also watch the lines that these drivers take. One may take it to the left of the track and one to the center or one to the right. Right down the middle, here we go.
Yeah, nice looking job there. Of course, all 4 digging on that truck really hard right to the very end. But, of course, he needed to get out over that 320 mark. He was not able to do so, so no shot at a win here today. We've got a lot of great pulling action yet to go, so don't go anywhere. We've got the rest of this category along with the Super Farms before everything's said and done.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, Ready Lift it.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana for the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. We're watching the 2.6 diesel truck category. And there's a look at your leaders in the top three. With more on the track, let's get it down to Jim Trado.
Guys, early on here in the Air Dog 2.6, we've seen a lot of trucks go almost the full distance. One reason why, this clay. This Terre Haute Action Track is a racetrack that many open wheel races have been contested on. I talked to the organizers. They said there was about 5 inches of rain earlier this week. And tonight they prepped it again, like they're doing a great job right now behind us. But this clay is a very, very good surface. I asked, why is it better than most? He said there's not a lot of sand or silt in this clay. It's really good, really firm, and great for pulling.
And that baby is great for racing, kid. There have been numerous cool, fast races there.
You're absolutely right. Very historical racetrack, of course. It looked like a lot of fluid just came out over the left front of that truck, called Injected and Erected. Very creative name there for the Dodge, of course, but you can see the steam over there as well, so something going wrong underneath the hood of that one.
Yeah, it does indeed. It looks like steam, like something from the radiator. I don't know what exactly it could be, whether it's a leak or overflow canister, whatever the case might be, but it looks like it's definitely got a little bit of heat in the motor.
General Tire takes us on a nice replay there from the cab looking out, and again, you can see that thing tugging really hard. Goes 316. So a nice pull there, no doubt about it, at 316 and 84.
Puts Josh Allad actually in the front as we get set to see the caged hooker here. Another Chevrolet.
Yep, the bow tie fans will be pulling for this one.
Well, that's a nice looking run.
Well, just a completely different sound as well. Look at that thing move around right at the very end. But ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful job here. Out past the 320 mark. That is a full pull.
Our very first full pull of the day, and it's going to go to the cage hooker machine of Rob Hall. He takes a Chevrolet down to the stripe, and he'll get the red flag. That means he's got the full pull here.
Let's get it down to Jim Trado.
Rob Hall and Cage Hooker, first full pull tonight. Tell us about it.
I had some issues when we first took off, but we just made some changes and we changed it back and felt like a pretty good pass.
What was the key to that full pull?
Oh, just I guess good driving. I don't know.
Of course it was good driving.
Actually, it really was some good-looking driving.
All right, Derek Hampson coming up next, the fortune teller out of Cedar Grove, Indiana. Oh, and he just dumped the clutch on that thing, let it start digging.
And again, now we're looking at a Dodge. We've had a couple Chevrolets in a row, and you can tell the difference in the sound.
And this class loaded with Dodges, by the way. Definitely the preferred truck, and a handful of Chevys, with a Chevy leading the group right now. Our General Tire instant replay for the fortune teller. He goes 313.03.
Put him right about in the middle of the pack right now. Once again, we only have one full pull, and that's Rob Hall, with a few units yet to go here.
We talk about them digging on all four. We're talking about all four corners, but all six tires. We're at the action track in Terre Haute, Indiana for the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. We're featuring the 2.6 diesel trucks. Such an exciting class, without a doubt. There's a look at how they stack up right now. Rob Hall and the caged hooker is leading the group. Two trucks left here for their first attempt at the pull. This is Megatron, driven by Jason Wayman.
Jason takes a brand spanking new Dodge. Beautiful, beautiful blue metallic machine. And hot rods it up a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's putting this one to the test for sure. And he's got his work cut out for him. He's got to get over the 320 mark to to keep up with the leaders here today and puts a 3:16 up on the board. That will not be enough to get into the pull-off, but a 3:16 at 25 is a solid effort for sure.
Yeah, really, it puts him right in about the top 3 or 4 of the field here, only missing the other pull of 3:16.84 of Jess Ladd, of course, as we know, one full pull for Rob Hall.
ReadyLift.com gives us a great replay and something these guys might be using on their trucks to get a little bit of clearance for those tires. Final puller inside of the category from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Adam Halling. It's called the Wrecker.
And this is one to watch.
Right there at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh,
Look
he's
at
got
the
that
wheel
thing rolling.
speed, man. That thing is trucking for sure.
Yeah, it's rolling.
Out over the full pull mark, and we will have a pull-off.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what happened right there at the front. You talked about it earlier. Torque, horsepower. You really want that torque to come in on the front half of the track, and the horsepower and the torque combination to work the second half of the track. And the Wrecker, Cage Hooker, will match up for the pull-off here today.
Well, Rob Hall and Cage Hooker got a second chance and made a full pull. Well, the last truck to go, Wrecker, did just the same, and he's already at the starting line, guys. They were the only two to do a full pull. I just checked with series officials. They're not changing the weight on the sled for this pull-off, but they are changing the trigger, which may make it a bit tighter going down, so we'll have to see how these teams can combat that to make another full pull or get further than their competitor to win the 2-6.
Wow, some good information right there, Ken.
Absolutely. There's a look at the pulls side by side as well, both of them resulting in pulls over 320 feet, and these two will go head-to-head in a pull-off to find out who's going to be the champ here today. Great looking stuff.
Pretty cool to see a Dodge and a Chevrolet matchup in the final, in the pull-off. Now the 2.6, as we talked about earlier, is actually the size of the diameter of the turbo. The engine sizes, for the most part, are approximately 450 to 460 cubic inches here.
Slowly build and boost, finally slides that clutch out and puts that Chevy to work.
And you know, he talked about being a driver earlier.
Boy, and you could see, man,
Wow.
that sled came up and finally just grunted the back of that truck down. It wasn't even spinning the tire. It was hooked up so well.
320.6.
Again, Adam with his work cut out for him. This truck looks so strong, though, in the initial pull.
And he goes all the way to the right side of the lane here, trying to find some ultimate traction here for the Dodge. Can he do it? Nope.
Oh, so close, but that's what this class is all about. That's why the fans love it. 3:17, good enough for second place here today, but that is a good look at your champ.
320 feet and change for the Chevrolet of Rob Hall. Cage Hooker, your
Look at that
champion
thing,
today.
man. It is bellowing smoke like a locomotive.
Black smoke a-rolling, baby. I love it. And look at the fans. I mean, this place is packed wall to wall. Neat stuff.
It's a hot class for sure. There's a look at our final results of the AirDog 2.6 diesel trucks. Congratulations once again to Rob Hall, Adam with a close second, and Josh rounds out the top three. Let's talk to our champ.
On the second pull, it was still a full pull for Rob Hall and Cage Hooker. Rob, this has to be a pretty exciting moment for you.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time. Work paid off this week. We worked on the truck a lot this week to get it going, and really paid it off. Broke some parts in the pull-off, but you know we got replacements, and we'll get her going for tomorrow night.
Now, Adam didn't have much time to get his truck ready for that pull-off. What'd you do in that wait before you got your chance to run your second pull?
I pretty much sat and watched closely right down here. And you know it's tough. Pull-offs are tough. You know, Adam, you know, he just ran, had to come back and run. His motor was hot, and you know they don't run as good when it's hot. I had a little more time to wait, you know, so you know, but I'm pretty happy tonight.
As he should be. We're not finished yet. Of course, the 2.6 diesel trucks, well, they're completed and in the books. But we still have the Super Farm tractors to come. And again, a classic category. The fans will be here, and a red versus green is always a big battle. Pick one, International or John Deere. The Super Farm Tractors will blow some smoke when we come back. Stay with us.
We love to hear from our fans. Go to www.facebook.com and become a fan of Lucas Oil on the Edge. Join our OTE private group or like our page. Then post your comments about this Lucas Oil on the Edge episode.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana for the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. The Super Farm Tractors are coming up next. A very, very tough category. A great category to get into. A single blower on these tractors. They make a lot of horsepower. Now, their bigger brothers, that would be the Pro Stock tractors. But the Super Farms are a lot of fun to watch. You need a lot of talent. And let me tell you, the names that are inside of this category are as big as any class you will find in national pulling. So to come out here and win in this category is no easy task.
Tad Ingram was started off, the natural disaster machine. Comes out of the state of Kentucky. And as Ken mentioned earlier, it's green versus red. John Deere versus International, and Ken, a floating finish in this category.
Absolutely. So there is no full pull mark. Here's the deal. You better make it count the first time. 299.11. Whoever pulls it the furthest the first time through is your winner. It's that simple.
So we have moved over to the opposite lane of what we ran the trucks on earlier this evening. You can tell nightfall has set here at the Terre Haute Action Track in southwestern Indiana. And it is time once again for the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza Super Farm Tractors. These things are crazy.
Yeah, it was a beautiful John Deere there, and of course a nice solid start here to the category. Peter Norton coming up next. Norton out of Franklin, Indiana. The tractor's called the Perfect Storm, another John Deere.
Now that's exactly what you want to see. You want that front end about 1 to 2 feet in the air, pretty much for the length of the track. And that's a very respected pull there at 301.17.
We'll take another look at this one from the Lucas Oil Incident Replay. Keep in mind the differentials on these tractors are open, so the tires will spin at different speeds. That's why you see them moving around a bit. Why are they open? Well, that's also how they steer them when the front end is up in the air. They have individual brakes, so the right foot will run either the right or left rear tire to keep these things in line if, in fact, they do veer one way or the other. Peter Norton, 301.17, your new leader.
John Coots up next. Again, another John Deere for Coots. He calls it the Diggin' Deer from Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and an old school Deere as well. Take a look at that thing. I mean, it looks like one you'd see out there in the fields. Love that stuff. 296.08, and he's going to miss it by just a bit. But you can see how close this class is. I mean, these guys are so good at what they do.
Very respected pull for not one of the more modern machines, if you will. Good looking, man. These things are all so good looking. Look at them. Every one we've seen so far, bright chrome wheels. Of course, the custom green color. You can't hardly miss that. Just unbelievable.
Absolutely. Show vehicles. We'll be right back with more.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast has been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, ready lift it.
The Scheid Diesel Extravaganza taking place here at the Action Track in Terre Haute. We're watching the General Tire Super Farm Tractors, and your current leader is Peter Norton at 301.17 with a floating finish line. So whoever drags that sled the furthest is your winner here tonight. First time we've seen a red tractor. It's the Red Scorpion. Driver, Mac Darnell.
Another one of those machines based in Kentucky. And again, as you mentioned earlier, it's red versus green. And our first red machine hits the track here, trying to beat the mark of 301.17. Can't get the job done. 298.84.
He is right there in the hunt, though, as this class keeps it so close. Our General Tire Instant Replay as we watch the International, and man, that sled, once that transfer box gets to the nose of that sled, puts all the weight down, and the grouser bars dig into that very, very tough clay, it just pulls it down to a stop. Good effort, though, at 298.84.
Clay is good for traction. It's also real good for the sled as well, and it'll put you to a halt. Nick Skar, one of the best in the business, and the Screaming Norwegian.
You're absolutely right. When I was talking about big names in this category, he is certainly one of them. Always a threat to win. Beautiful looking international here, and he is our new leader. 3:03.5.
He made it look easy, too.
Yeah, nice and straight. And, of course, that's the key, right? He never has to get into the brakes at all. Consequently, goes nice and straight, carries that front end just a little bit, just enough weight transfer to keep those back tires planted, and drags it out there past the 303-foot mark.
When you got wheel speed like that and moving momentum like that, you always got a good shot at going to the top of the heap, and that's exactly where Skar is at this time.
Beautiful shot there. You could see whenever he lit that thing up and then dumped the fuel to it as well. The water came on, put a little bit of that fire out. Then they pour the fuel to it. Big time horsepower, and the agitator goes 3:02 and 93. So close to taking over the lead, but good enough for second place.
I can't believe how close these things are. Blaine Fraker, as we watch the General Tire instant replay once again, hikes the front end up just a little bit more than you kind of want to, bounces it just a little bit. Now, that might be a little bit of loss there. It actually is. You know, if you had that back again, that might have been that little bit you needed to pick up that extra foot.
Right, maybe another 100 pounds on the nose. You're exactly right. When the front end comes up too far, it'll actually start to unload the rear tires. All right, Dan Vinny coming up next. Crank it up. Another international.
And he is from the same hometown as your leader, Nick Skar. And I'm not so sure they compare notes or not, but this machine could do it right here. Oh, man, oh, so close.
Right, and just sneaks by the agitator to steal second place and just misses Nick Skar's Screaming Norwegian for the lead.
3:03.16 compared to a 3:03.50 for Nick. They are 1 and 2, and they are both, once again, from the same hometown, Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Nice job there.
And you can see these guys are all starting to line up in the same exact spot because they know that's where the grip is. There's your final results for the Super Farm Tractors. Congratulations to Nick Skar and the Screaming Norwegian and the rest of our competitors as well for coming out here and putting on such a great show for the fans. A packed house in the stands enjoying all the great action. And, of course, we hope you enjoyed it at home as well. For Jim Trado and Brian Olson, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.